जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यमुनातिरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुनातिरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय राधा काला चंजी राधे जय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद गौर प्रेमानंदे ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। पृष्ठप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठुकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, Chapter 29. I think we're giving text 11 and 12. This is the chapter of explanation of devotional service by Kapilidev to his instructions to his mother. So we will read text 11 and 12. मद्गुणश्रुति मात्रेण मयि सर्वा गुहाशये मनोगतिरविच्छिन्ना यथा गंगो बसाम्बुधो लोक लक्षणां भक्ति योगस्य निर्गुणस्य उदाहृतम् ऐतुकी अव्यहावितः या भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे मद्गुणाश्रुति मात्रेण मयि सर्वागुहाशये मनोगतिरविच्छिन्ना यथा गंगां बशोम्बुधो लक्षणां भक्ति योगस्य निर्गुणस्य हि उदाहृतम् ऐतुकी अव्यवहावितः या भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे। मद्गुति श्रुति मात्रेण मयि सर्वा गुहाशये मनोगतिरविच्छिन्ना यथा गंगां बशोम्बुधो लक्षणां भक्ति योगस्य निर्गुणस्य हि उदाहृतम् अहेतुकी अव्यवहितः भक्तिर्पुरुषोत्तमे। Anyone else? Mad Shruti matreण सर्वगुहाशये मनोगतिरविच्छिन्ना यथा गंगां बशोम्बुधो क्षणामतियोगस्य निर्गुणस्य हि उदाहृतम् इतुकी अव्यवहितः या भक्तिर्पुरुषोत्तमे। Okay, we'll read the transliteration. Mat, of me, guna, qualities, shruti, by hearing, matrena, just, mai, towards me, sarva guhashaye, residing in everyone's heart, Managatihi, the heart's course, avichinna, continuous, yatha, as, Ganga, of the Ganges, amsh, ambashaha, of the water, ambudho, towards the ocean, lakshanam, the manifestation, bhakti yogyasya, of devotional service, nirgunasya, unadulterated, he, indeed, udahritam, exhibited, ahituki, causeless, avyavahitaha, not separated, ya, which, bhaktihi, devotional service, purusha uttame, towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation: the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to the hearing of transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by material condition, flows towards the Supreme Lord. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The basic principle of this unadulterated, pure devotional service is love of Godhead. Madguna Sruti Matrena means just after hearing about the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These qualities are called Nirgunaha. The Supreme Lord is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature. Therefore, he is attracted to the pure devotee. There is no need to practice meditation to attain such attraction. The pure devotee is already in the transcendental stage, and the affinity between him and the Supreme Lord is natural and is compared to the Ganges water flowing towards the sea. The flow of Ganges water cannot be stopped by any condition. Similarly, a pure devotee's attraction to for the transcendental name, form, and pastimes of the Supreme Godhead cannot be stopped by any material condition. The word avichinna, without interruptions, is very important in this connection. No material condition can stop the flow of devotional service of a pure devotee. The word ahituki means without reason. A pure devotee does not render loving service to the personality of Godhead for any cause or any benefit, material or spiritual. This is the first symptom of unalloyed devotion. Anyabhilashita shunyam. He has no desire to fulfill by rendering devotional service. Such devotional service is meant for the Purushottama, the Supreme Personality, and not for anyone else. Sometimes pseudo devotees show devotion to many demigods, thinking the forms of the demigods to be the same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead's form. It is specifically mentioned herein, however, that bhakti, devotional service, is meant only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, Vishnu, or Krishna, not for anyone else. Avyavahitaha means without cessation. A pure devotee must engage in the service of the Lord 24 hours a day without cessation. His life is so molded that at every minute and at every second he engages in some sort of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Another meaning of the word avyavahita is that the interest of the devotee and the interest of the Supreme Lord are on the same level. The devotee has no interest but to fulfill the transcendental desire of the Supreme Lord. Such spontaneous service unto the Supreme Lord is transcendental and is never contaminated by modes of material nature. These are the symptoms of pure devotional service, which is free from all contamination of material nature. Om Ajnanamitymandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, in this chapter, actually, we see that Kapila Muni is explaining to his mother what is devotional service, what is Anya Bilashita Shunyam, what actually devotional service involves. It involves service of Atma Samarpanam. It means actually surrendering oneself to Bhagavan. And how it is said, it is actually always attracted by hearing transcendental name and qualities. As we know, Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Padasevanam. So, Sravanam, by hearing Bhagavan's name, is only that our mind's contamination gets purified. And that is how actually we can understand what is devotional service and surrender to Him. So, in context of this, we know that this Sunday in India, Monday, the Ram temple is being consecrated and Sthapana is being done. So I know Balram Prasad will talk on tomorrow on Sunday about Lord Rama and what is pastime. But one should understand that in context of this, one example is Shravanam. So Shravanam is hearing. So in Valmiki Ramayanam, actually, it is said that the Itihasam itself, it is supposed to be pure. And how did Valmiki understand this purity of Bhagavan's name? So, in Valmiki Ramayanam, he asks Narada instruction about what is he starts meditating and contemplating. What is about the aspect of what should I write? What should I hear? So, he asks that to Narada, and in this aspect Narada describes to him about what is Ramayana about actually, because without Bhagavan, as we said, resides in everyone's heart as a Paramatma, as himself. But to understand the purity, just like in this shloka, the Ganges today also flows from the heavenly planets. It comes all the way from the heavenly planets and comes on Lord Shiva's head and in Kailasha, and it flows across. Material contamination people may view as it is impure, but that is because our body is impure. So we cannot understand the purity of it. So similarly, Bhagavan's name is always pure. Satchidanandam Vigraha Anadiradir Govindam. His form, his pastimes are always pure. So in this case, that is why importance is always given to Shravanam even here as devotional service, as Kapila Dev says. Without Shravanam, one cannot start devotional service. So in this case, actually, he explains in the shloka is Buddhiman Nitiman Vagmi Sriman Shatru Binarha. He says Vipulas Samha Mahabaho Kambugriva Mahanaho. He says Lord Rama is one who is wise, moralist, eloquent, glorious, and a destroyer of enemies. His arms are lengthy. His 3 lines in his neck are indicative of good fortunes, and his cheekbones are high. So, when we want to understand and fall attraction to something in material universe, our material body is only drawn to perception. Of course, Bhagwan's name, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktihi. Nam Nam Akari Bahuda. Actually, it is infinite amount of qualities of Bhagwan are present in his name, but we cannot understand it. In spite of we chant. Yes, if we are outside this material conception, we could understand. But that Nam Nam Akari Bahuda, it is innumerable qualities. His form, his pastimes, his smiling, everything is present in Bhagavan's name. But our material contamination cannot understand. So, that is why Avataram takes place. That's why Bhagavan comes. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. To encourage us to chant in Kali Yuga is Bhagavan's name. In fact, not just in Kali Yuga, even in Treta Yuga, Narada is telling Valmiki to write about Lord Rama's beauty. In fact, yes, we can say 64 qualities, but Lord Rama is also very beautiful. There are three aspects which is said which are important when it comes to Lord Rama. Shuddha Brahma Parat Pararam. So, Shuddham. In Ikshvaku dynasty, when Lord Rama ruled, actually there was no lie. No one knew how to lie. So there was no one who knew the difference between Asatyam and Satyam. In fact, that is the beauty of Lord Rama's kingdom at that time. In fact, it is said the snake has two tongues because it can lie from other side. But in Ikshvaku, actually no one knew how to lie. So there was no difference between people knew what is truth and what is false. Because when everyone lives in truthful life, what is the question of lying? That is how Dasharatha was there. How the praja is how a raja is. This is Kali Yuga. Similarly, when Lord Rama also, and also to share this, that only in Valmiki Ramayanam, only 40 years Lord Rama ruled for 10,000, 13,000 years, okay, we can say actually. But only Valmiki Ramayana is condensed only 40 years. The rest of his all is Rama Rajyam. So, Narada describes actually to Valmiki the exalted qualities of how. Like how we say about Krishna's pastimes, same way Valmiki is Narada is explaining to Valmiki, but he only gives a gist. So he says, Mahorakshaha Maheshwasaha Gudadrachu Arindamaha Anjana Bahu Sushiraha Sulataha Suvikramaha. He says, Lord Rama is lion-chested with concealed collarbones. Knee length are his arms and has a long bow. An enemy subjugator. His emperor's countenance is with a crowning head and an ample forehead, and his gait is majestic of that of a lion. One thing about Lord Rama's beauty, just as we say, is his locks. So the most beautiful part, if you see in a body, generally speaking, is described in Vedam, is the part between the mouth and the ear. It says like a bird. So his locks, how Krishna takes time to put his peacock feather, Lord Rama always makes sure his curls are always flowing between this area, actually here. So that is a beauty. So he explains like this about to Valmiki actually. The same context happens if we were to say about Sravanam. So when you hear something, naturally, actually we can even explain scientifically of prasadam, of how a mind, our body thinks. When we think of something, let's say you think of prasadam, you will naturally first see something, your visual cortex will understand. Then the senses get activated. You want to touch, you want to feel. Then how the taste develops actually. So that is why Sravanam is encouraged always actually. Sravanam is the main thing. Our mind always resolves of where we should go. So the same aspect happens is Valmiki is giving, Narada is giving little context about how Lord Rama looks. The same thing happens when in the Kishkinda forest, where Hanuman sees Lord Rama and Lakshmana. Obviously, in the forest, the look of itself is Lord Rama looks like a warrior. Obviously, broad-chested, high collarbones, so majestic. But he is dressed like a hermit in this case. The same thing actually also happens when after Sita goes to the forest, after they come back and Lava Kusha comes back, and they narrate Ramayana story because they lived in the ashrama to Lord Rama himself. When he sees Lava Kusha, his own sons, they look so as a Kshatriyastic qualities, so beautiful. But Lord Rama thinks, how is that they are looking so princely but dressed in a thing? So the same thought also comes to Hanuman. Of course, we talk about devotion and devotional service. Devotional service hears by hearing, by seeing, by talking, by sharing Bhagavan's Leelas. Hanuman obviously knows who Lord Rama is, but obviously this is all about wanting to us to experience. Why? Because paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrinatam. Bhagavan wants us to enjoy his pastimes and his leelas. So, unadulterated devotional service, when one thing very beautifully Prabhupada is written actually, that principle of unadulterated devotional service is love of Godhead. And actually, he says that no material condition can stop the flow of devotional service of pure devotee. Basically, Prabhupada has told us that we are not at that stage yet, because obviously we have conditions which stop us from doing. This is the realization we should understand. It doesn't mean Prabhupada is telling we cannot become, or any Acharya is saying. But that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will say, Tranadapi Sunichena. Can we do devotional service? Yes. Can we do 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours? Yes. But pure devotee means unadulterated, continuous devotional service. That is the real definition. Hanuman is an exemplary quality of unadulterated, pure devotional service. Everywhere he is present. Wherever Bhagavan is there, Lord Rama is present. He is still present in this universe. All obviously. So, to glorify Bhagavan and hearing about him, one should also glorify his most Shrestha Bhagavata, which is Hanuman actually. So, the same thing actually he explains when he sees like Lord Rama and Lakshmana. He says like Padma Patru Ishakanu Virau Jata Mandala Dharino Ayonya Sadriksho Virau Deva Lokat Ihagato. Your eyes of yours, Hanuman is describing this. The eyes of yours are like fine lotus petals. How beautiful he has said. Not just lotus petals. Valmiki, of course, has also wonderfully described each and every attribute. He says fine lotus petals. That is the beauty about Lord Rama's eyes he is describing. Right? You wear tufts and braids, and some of like you are like unaudited human ascetics, but it looks so beautiful. So he says you are so effulgent, and your effulgence looks like kingdom worthy. So Hanuman is describing the beauty. So why these qualities are called transcendental, as in the purport Prabhupada says these qualities are nirguna, because human like qualities of reflection, yes, some people may have qualities, but they cannot last forever. Lord Rama or Lord Krishna, whenever they are present, it is never decaying. Like for example, we may take a bath, and after some time our body may decay, may sweat profuse, may get contaminated. But Bhagavan never yes, Bhagavan may play in the mud, but in spite of that he is always beautiful, because the reason for that is that which is spiritual, nothing material can stick to it. He may allow material things to come close to him, but it can never stick. So Bhagavan's qualities always remain paripurnam. That's why it says Shuddha Brahma Paratmarara, means always pure. Yes, like the best example we can say is, can we put oil in a water? Sure, but at some point the oil will go away. It will never merge together. So that is the understanding. That is why Prabhupada writes in the purport Nirguna. In fact, Kapila explains like this. Without reason, this is how it is. Without reason, the Bhagavata wants to serve. Hanuman had no reason actually to go and want to say, I want to go to Lanka. Without reason, though people requested him, out of love for Sita, he decides to go. Actually, that love is unalloyed. Actually, this is how Valmiki is explaining. Similarly, he says that uh, he explains that dazzling are your he says that dazzling are your amply wide broad and gilded sword like shoulders, how beautiful they are. So Hanuman himself is amazed looking at Lord Rama's beauty actually. So this is why it is said that hearing about Bhagavan's pastimes, that is why Kapila Muni has said, yes, there are different stages of devotional service, how one should surrender, who we should surrender, who we should not. But why so much importance is given to Shravanam, Kirtanam? Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says chant Bhagavan's names? Because only with that purification comes. Yes, everything else will follow, but without Shravanam, one cannot come to that stage. In fact, even the most Shrestha Bhagavata of Rama, Hanuman is still chanting Rama's name. So if he can still chant, what are we supposed to say about ourselves? So that is the beauty of Bhagavan's name himself. He himself is amazed, and that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes avataram, because he wants to understand the beauty of Bhagavan's name. Nam Nam Akari Bauda Nija Sarva Shaktihi Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. Smaranena Kalaha. One should always chant every moment and instance. We may not, yes, it may take time to come to the stage of pure devotional service, but at least in thought, in practical sense, at least when we start our day, what we do, one should say, Bhagavan, by thanks to your name, I am able to do your name, I am able to do service, I am able to serve Bhagavatas, I am able to think of you. Before chanting, one has to think. So actually one should always be very humble to say that, Bhagavan, you have allowed me to think of you itself. That is a very key aspect, and that is the most beautiful thing. So we can see that how Narada is explaining to Valmiki about different aspects in devotional service. Also, it is said that Lord Rama's birth comes after 12 months, and Ashwamedha Yagya is done actually. So Ashwamedha Yagya takes for 1 year. It is not like people think, okay, it is just a horse which is gone and everything like that. It is 1 year actually, and as we know that Lord Rama stays in his mother's womb for close to 14 months actually. This is the beauty. Normal child will stay for some time and come out. Lord Rama is unique in that regard. So we can see that qualities, Nam Nam Akari Bauda and Avyavahitaha, without cessation. Pure devotee must engage 24/7. In fact, we can see that how Hanuman always wants to be serving Lord Rama. He doesn't want to go. In fact, after Ayodhya, once he comes, it's a wonderful thing that he asks Sita, why does she put vermilion in her forehead? She says, I am because obviously the fact that he is my dear, and I always put it to remember. This is a significance that Indian women wear this, right, for the husband. So what Hanuman does is he basically goes and takes the whole vermilion and pours on himself, because he wants to show that he loves Rama more than Sita because that is what it indicates. So we can see that is called Avyahitaha, an unalloyed and spontaneous devotional service actually. So this is an explanation of how the pastimes itself of Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu happen. In fact, even in one of the beautiful poems by Jayadeva Goswami, it is said actually, right, that Sasa Dvasa Sanandanam Govinde Lola Lochana Sinjana Manju Manjiram Pravesha Niveshanam. So, in the Madhuvan, Radha entered the cottage and she looked at Govinda with a feeling of mixed happiness and fear. Her anklets were making tinkling noise. Then says, Radha Vadana Vilochana Vikshata Vivida Vikara Vibhangam Jaladhim Va Vidhumandala Darshana Taralita Tungataranam. So Krishna looked at the moon-like face of Radha and was filled with the waves of love. It is like the sea waves rising at the sight of the moon. And Radha glanced with all this eagerness. So we can see that devotional service, the love which Srimati Radharani has, is also explained in this poem so wonderfully, that that is called without cessation. Srimati Radharani's love is directed without cessation to Krishna. That is a beauty. And it's further explained actually just like Vadana Kamala Parishelena Mihita Mihirasama Kundala Shobham Smita Ruchirasa Mulasitidhara Palavakrutarati Lobhana Harimeka. So Krishna's ear hangings are shining like sun rays. So the moon rays are shining on Krishna's chest. It is like the moon in dark clouds. Mark of sandalwood face on his beautiful face. So we can see that Srimati Radharani and the gopis are always there to serve Sri Krishna. And this is what Sravanam makes us. So these auspicious qualities of Bhagavan, that is why they are called in Sachidanandam Vigraha. They never get contaminated. We can hear them how many times we want. But Bhagavan's beauty, the more and more we chant, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that, the more we chant, the more cessation of separation comes. But at the same point, the joy of love also increases. Because the more we chant His name, the more we get purified. And the more we want to go towards Bhagavan. So this is the beauty of Bhagavan's name. Other material attributes and things we may talk and chant, but we will eventually get bored out of it. But Bhagavan's name is always beautiful. So we can see that how, that Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, how Bhagavan's names by chanting always gives pleasure. In fact, also it is to explain a little bit more about Srimati Radharani's look when she looks at Krishna. Tarala Drugamachala Chalana Manohara Vadana Janita Ratiragam Sputakarnanodora Khelita Kanjana Yugameva Saraditagam Harimeka. So Radha was looking at Sri Krishna with her black rolling eyes. Krishna was looking at her with great excitement. It was like birds flying over the lake with the lotus flowers in the Sarata season. So we can see that devotional service comes from within. That is why it said Manasa Seva. It is sometimes we may not have all the abilities to do everything by devotional service in person, but at least by thought, at least by heart, one should understand that we can still serve Bhagavan. Whatever, as Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yume Bhakta Prachayati. It doesn't matter, you may have. Of course, the one important thing to know is if Bhagavan gives someone opportunity, one shouldn't be miserly. If one is miserly, that means they are cheating Krishna. So one should be according to what is one's ability, one should serve. That is what Bhagavan expects. Even not just human beings. If Gajendra can offer a lotus to Bhagavan, an animal can also be devotional service to do Bhagavan. We should never think we are greater. As Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. If we think we are greater than anyone else, then that is our fall down. Yes, in material sense, we may have to discern certain things. But from within, there should be respect at a Jivatma level for every Jivatma. When that happens, then the Anya Bilashita Shunyam, wanting to love Bhagavan without cessation, will come actually. So this is little bit of Bhagavan's pastimes we can see. Of course, this verse cannot be ended, because about talking about Bhagavan's name and transcendental name and qualities, one can talk for generations and yugas. So that is a reality. But I wanted to give a gist obviously of the beauty of Bhagwan's names which is present. Of course, an important thing also is actually that when Narada explains actually to Valmiki, he actually explains only a short aspect, and then he leaves Valmiki, and which I've explained before. So uh, he actually then goes to take a bath in the Tamala river, Valmiki, and basically when he's taking a bath, he sees a bird being shot down actually. And it so happens that there are two birds which are sitting, a couple, and this hunter shoots the bird down. Actually, when he sees it, actually he gets very pained seeing this hunter actually. And so he actually composes the so that is the most important shloka he composes actually. So when he composes that immediate pain in the particular meter, he doesn't realize why he uttered this in a state of anger, but that ma nishadam is that first slokam which he says immediately in pain, and that meter is what actually creates him writing Valmiki Ramayanam, and that is how it is ordained actually. So this is the explanation of today's shloka itself, and what is transcendental qualities, and how Bhagwan's name, chanting his names, hearing his names, rendering devotional service to not him, to his Bhagavatas, is what will help us purify devotional service. And of course we know that for many people who are listening online, that there is a wonderful function which is going on tomorrow also, about a 12-hour kirtan in chanting Lord Bhagwan's names, and Balram Prasad will be giving a class on Sri Lord Rama, his concept pastimes itself from his birth to his Rajyam. So it is important for all to understand that Sanatana Dharma, it is not a Hindu temple, it is Sanatana Dharma what we follow actually speaking. And in Kali Yuga, to have such an event of Sanatana Dharma is obviously very important for all of us, not for just Indians. Bhagwan Rama or Krishna came is for everyone. It is actually for everyone. It is outside bodily conception. So one should understand that his explanation, and of course it is we can see online many things are there, but this is very important event which is happening in India today, and tomorrow Balram Prasad will be speaking about it. So I will end today's class, and Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you for a very beautiful class. Was Valmiki instructed by Sri Nardadev to chant Mara, Mara, Mara?
Yes, that is correct. Before that is much before, that is correct. So just to explain those people, Valmiki, obviously we know his past was he was a hunter, and he used to actually go and kill animals halfway. He was very ruthless. He used to kill birds or plants and animals, and he used to kill them halfway. And what happened is, when Narada saw this, he came to him, and obviously he said, why are you doing this? He said, I am killing animals because I want to sustain my family and feed them. He said, you are going to suffer for this reaction. Well, he says, well, I am doing this to sustain my family. Narada goes and asks, go ask your family, will they take half of our karma what you are doing? So he goes and asks them back, that Narada told me like this, that I am doing this kind of activity by this sinful reaction. They asked his family and wife and all, will you take half my this karma what you are doing? They said, no, we will not take. So basically, yes, he cannot, as Kunti Mataji asked, is he cannot chant Rama, so Mara, and basically as he keeps chanting, basically Mara means killing, and he keeps on asking to chant, and Lord Rama comes and he gets purified. So thank you for asking that question, Mataji. So that is the preface of how, and this event happens afterwards. Valmiki realizes, he becomes an ascetic and he is meditating, and then that's what happens. So I mean, there is so much to talk about Valmiki Ramayanam, but can only concise in 25-30 minutes. So thank you, Mataji, for the question. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I really appreciate this focus of hearing and chanting, and I was thinking about how I've been meditating on how the quality of my hearing affects my devotional service. And we have like a meme, right, of the wife is speaking to the husband, and he's kind of like, yeah, sure, and she's like, "Are you listening to me?" And he goes, yeah. So we can understand there's a different qualities of hearing. And I was wondering if you could speak on what is quality hearing, how might quality hearing be, and what does it do to our devotional service?
Absolutely, it's a very important thing, because if this again comes to, it is almost like a dual state. So, for example, when we chant Krishna's name or Bhagavan's name and we hear it, sure, why it is said that japa or chanting, there is sankirtanam and there is japa. If I were to put it in a two simple categories, sankirtanam, when we hear, we are, say for example, we come in a temple, there is bhajan, there is kirtan, there may be a lot of people around, that is also purifying. But there will be distraction naturally, because we have eyes, we are looking around naturally, correct? But it doesn't mean it's wrong. That is how it is, right? For example, we go in a temple hall, there is bhajan playing, there's kirtan. Now, quality of devotional service, why, and this is of course a different class itself, but to talk about japa and the quality of hearing, because quality of hearing, japa is meditation, immersing not just our senses, but also in engaging us as jivatma. That is the important aspect. We are body ultimately. We say in today's world, they will say this so-called out of body experience and all, but really speaking, concentration of Bhagwan's name without having, in the initial stages, yes, mind will waver, but one has to be disciplined. Like for example, when one wants to, the best material example I can say is, say if a student is studying in a school and he's supposed to write an exam, obviously he cannot watch TV and write an exam. He has to focus. So mind has to make an effort to focus, and that focus will come when we decide first mentally that I don't want any distraction. Like for example, when someone wants to chant japa, he can say, I can chant japa by Bhagwan's name, and I shouldn't say just okay, I go around seeing some music and whatever else and japa. Will the quality of devotional service be good? No. Will you still get effect of Bhagwan's name? Yes. The best example I can give is, if imagine you have a phone, your Wi-Fi connection is there. Imagine Wi-Fi connection having 6 bars to 1 bar. That is exactly like devotion, hearing not properly. I mean, I'm just telling in a humorous way, but it's a truth. So, effort of quality of hearing means we should only focus on His name. That is the key aspect actually. We should control ourselves. Yes, when one comes to a particular stage, then naturally mind will say, this is my time of japa, this is my time of meditation. Then it will come. But to come to that stage, it will take time. But it is like saying that, they take the leap of faith. So without knowing, it's like I want to taste gulab jamun. The gulab jamun, everyone has told me it tastes good, but without eating, you cannot understand the taste. The same thing applies to Bhagwan's name and chanting. So the concentration, one has to put some material effort. That cannot come because we are not Nitya Siddha. We are not some Nitya Suri. We have been with Bhagwan's pastimes innumerable time, and all of a sudden we say, okay, I am absolutely purified. No, we have contamination. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That as we keep clearing the mirror, the concentration, what we say, quality of hearing will improve. And so that is how it has to happen.
I really like this. I'm going to focus on this. I want 6 bars of connection with Krishna, not just 1. I really like that.
It's, yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, I think we'll end today's class. So, Vrindraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, that is one pastime of his. So that he loves Lord Rama so